Welcome back to the Using Python at the CHPC video series. In the previous video, I briefly mentioned the difference between login nodes and compute nodes on an HPC cluster, and I had this slide here to show that there are different recommended strategies for running Python if you're running on a login node or if you're running on a compute node. So I'm going to focus on 3 strategies for each. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's what I personally would consider using. And I'm going to start by looking at login nodes and the command line or SSH. So we saw a bit of this when I was installing packages, where if I open up my terminal application, I can use SSH from the command line, and SSH is available by default on Mac OS, of course on Linux, and on modern versions of Windows. So I'm going to SSH to my unid, that's my username, and then the name of the node, or the address of the node. So for example, on the Granite cluster, I could do granite1.chpc.utah.edu. And this will ask for my campus password. And then once I've logged in here, you can see that my prompt has changed to indicate that I'm now on the node Granite1, and I can run commands on this node. So I could, for example, run module load python 3 to load a recent version of Python, and then run python 3 to start the Python interpreter. And similarly, if I had an actual Python script, I could run python 3, for example, myscript.py. Now again, this is on a login node. Granite1 is one of the login nodes of the Granite cluster, so you wouldn't want to run any large computational tasks on this node. Now another option for running Python on a login node is to use fastx to connect. And so for example, you can connect in your web browser to an address like granite1.chpc.utah.edu, but you need to add some extra text here. You need a colon character and then 3300. This means we're connecting on port 3300. And here I get taken to a login page where I can again enter my unid and my campus password. And this will log me in to fastx. And there is also a desktop client for fastx if you'd like to run this on your computer instead of through a web browser. Now in fastx, I can choose a terminal session or a desktop session from one of these tiles on the left. So I'm going to just choose, for example, XFCE desktop, and this will start a session here where it's kind of a remote desktop session within my web browser right now. So I'm running my own operating system on my own computer, and then I have this little window into what's happening on the Granite1 node entirely within my web browser here. And from here I could run the same sort of thing. So you'll see it brought up this terminal by default, and I could run module load python 3 and then again run python 3 from the command line, excuse me. So that is another option for accessing login nodes on CHPC systems. Now the third and final strategy that I have here is to access the command line through Open On Demand. So Open On Demand is another web platform that you can use to access CHPC systems. So for example, if I go to ondemand.chpc.utah.edu, this will ask me to log in, again with my campus credentials. And from here, we'll see later on that we can interact with Slurm through some of these applications here, but what we're actually going to look at is just click on clusters in the top menu here, and then click on, for example, Granite Shell Access. And this will open a new tab in my web browser and immediately let me start running commands from the command line. So once again, I could run module load Python 3 and Python 3 to start the Python interpreter. So all of these are valid options for connecting to a login node and running Python on CHPC systems. And we'll see in the next video on running Python on compute nodes that I could also, for example, load one of the modules that I created, or the module that I created in the last lecture, to use my custom Python environment. Or I could load the MiniForge 3 module and then conda activate my conda environment, and that would allow me to use my custom version of Python with the packages I've installed.